Have you ever believed that something could be more beautiful after it's been broken? That maybe the story behind how it got broke, the story behind its life, the scars, the dents, the scratches. Have you ever felt like that could actually make something more beautiful than it was before when it was new? I believe that. I'm a big believer in that. I love old trucks, even though mine's not that old, but I like old trucks. And I think I like that they gather more character with age as their paint gets worse and they get full of dents and scratches and things. But somehow, it's not the same for a sports car or luxury car, but for a truck, that just adds to the character of it, right? Um, Now, for my jewelry fans out there, you know where this is going if you watched the last video in this little mini series. Um, I am working on my wife's mug. She threw this away after having accidentally knocked it off the counter. It was a sad day. It was a beautiful unicorn mug. She loved this mug, and she was pretty sad that she had to throw it away. What I didn't tell her is I pulled it back out of the trash because I was very interested in the Kintsugi method for repairing ceramics. Something I heard about years ago, and I thought it was a really cool idea, really cool technique, but I'd never had anything to use it on. We hadn't broken any ceramics around the house in quite a while, so when this broke, I thought, well, I could get it back together for her. I could fix it for her and make it more beautiful than it was before, surprise her with it, and get a chance to practice this Kintsugi thing. So I talked about it in the last video. I'll talk about it briefly. It's a Japanese technique from a few centuries ago, I'm pretty sure. It seemed like it was started by an emperor was complaining that the way that they repaired ceramics at the time was really ugly. I think they used like big staple looking things or something. And so the emperor was complaining there had to be a better way to do it. And so the masters of repair at the time came up with Kintsugi as a solution to his concern. And it was really quite beautiful. Basically, you kind of glue everything together with what, in the end, looks like you glued it together with gold or silver or platinum or something like that. Even though technically the adhesives are something else, but I think traditionally they do actually use gold in the process. Here, I found a kit on Amazon. I think this cost me like $25 or something. I don't remember. I'll put an affiliate link in the description if you guys want to try this out for yourselves. But this is a food safe kit. That's very important. Coffee mug, hot cocoa mug, got to be food safe. You don't want to get one that's not food safe, right? So I don't know if you could put this back together with super glue because I don't know if that's food safe, right? So make sure whatever you're doing is food safe. Now, I could just find a food safe glue and put it back together. But again, it doesn't add to the beauty, right? So what's going to happen is when I'm done, this thing's going to have, well, my wife doesn't like the color gold. So I'm going to be using a silver color for hers. But the cracks will be filled with that silver color. And frankly, that's why I'm sanding it right now. I was reading tutorials. I was watching tutorials on this. And some people were saying, oh, yeah, sand it so it all fits back together right. And I'm like, this all fits together pretty well. I think if I just used normal glue, it would be no problem. I don't need to do any sanding. But one person mentioned that you do need to sand the edges of it. Not necessarily the whole thing in here, but just like the edges of it. Because if you don't, there's no space to fill with the gold colored adhesive. So you just end up, even if you use a gold colored adhesive, you wouldn't see it because you just see a hairline crack. So what I'm doing is I'm sanding back the edges to create a little bit of a divot, a little bit of a gap to fill with the silver colored adhesive so it's more visible, right? So I'm trying to create a little bit of space for that to make it a bit more visible. So this is my first time doing it. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm a jeweler. I know how to make beautiful jewelry, but Kintsugi, I'm probably murdering that anyway. If somebody else speaks Japanese or I'm pretty sure it's Japanese, if you know the pronunciation better, please figure out a way to tell me in the comments. Maybe a link to the right. I don't know. Whatever. Anyway, I'm going to keep on sanding on this. But anyway, this also kind of goes back into my design philosophy for my jewelry too, right? I think I love making pieces that have story in them, which if you check out my YouTube channel, you're going to find a lot of story. If you check out the blog on my website, charmingquail.com, the fan feed, that's the blog, you're going to find a lot of stories behind the jewelry, right? I love the stories behind the pieces. I love sharing the stories behind the pieces. And I think Kintsugi is a really cool way of showing off the story behind a piece, right? This will always have the story of when it was accidentally knocked off the shelf, but that it was such a beloved piece, it got saved and repaired and now made more beautiful because of its accident, because of that story, that event it went through, right? Now, in my designs, you can see this in, for instance, I've got a mountain ring that I still need to produce it. It's still in sketch form right now, but it's designed to look imperfect because mountains are imperfect, right? They're beautiful, massive, majestic, but they're not majestic because they're perfect pyramids. They're majestic because they've been beaten and eroded with time and weather, right? And their beauty comes from the story of everything that's happened to them and made them look the way that they look. Not because they're perfect. And I used a stone, a mossy agate, for a few different reasons. Because I wanted to set the stone upside down. It's a white stone with a piece of moss inside of the stone that you can see, which is really cool because you're kind of bringing nature into the stone, into this mountain ring, right? But also, I want to mount it upside down, putting the pointy side up so it looks like a snowy peak. Now, typically with a diamond or anything else, a metalsmith is going to scream at you for trying to do that because you're asking to get that stone damaged, right? That stone is not going to, it's going to get scratched, it's going to get chipped, the culet, the point is going to get broken off over time. Like that's going to happen if you mount it upside down and put it on a ring. That's what's going to happen. But I thought, wouldn't that be kind of cool though? Right? It kind of plays into that beauty from erosion kind of a thing, right? It plays into that. And the mossy agate stone isn't some $10,000, $30,000 diamond or something, right? It's a very affordable stone. And if you chip it and break it, it's fine because it's a very affordable stone. It's not that hard to replace. And that's part of why I chose it too, is because you could damage it without really feeling bad about it, without really being out much money. And if you change your mind, you could always replace it. But I think that it was really cool to do this mountain ring that played into the story, the damage, the things that really made the mountain beautiful. Make it something that's your own piece. As you wear it, you damage it, but make it more beautiful. Kind of like Kintsugi, right? you use a mug or a bowl or something and you accidentally break it, as life happens, right? But we as people are more beautiful because of the experiences we've had. Hopefully, not too traumatic of experiences, right? But we all have tough times, some more than others. But those tough times are what really build our character and make us who we really are, and make us more interesting people to hang around, right? Somebody with no character is usually not a lot of fun to hang around. Somebody who's not really lived through anything, not that fun of a person, you know? It's our stories and trials and tribulations that we've been through, that we've survived, we've learned how to adapt to, that really make us more interesting, right? I'm not going to sit here and tell you I had a really hard life. I've been through my trials and tribulations, but I've been pretty lucky in life. Not any really traumatic instances to recall, but I've worked hard, done some really challenging things, worked with people that have had more difficult times than I had, worked to help them out, and worked hard to do things that weren't easy. And I like to think those things have made me a little bit more fun to talk to, a little more interesting to hang out with. Heck, starting my own business. There's a tough one. That's been a challenge, right? But it's a challenge I take a lot of pride in. It's a challenge I really enjoy doing, I've been running this business for a little over 2 years now, and I don't know, it's interesting. Like, I feel like I haven't really accomplished that much, but sometimes I do look back and I think, wow, I have accomplished a lot of stuff that so many other people haven't accomplished, either because they've never even tried starting a business before, or maybe they have started a business, but man, a lot of businesses fail within the first year to 2 years. The fact that I'm 2 years in and still going, I mean, that's a thing. That's a thing that a lot of business owners didn't make it to. The website I've built up and all the things I've got set in place that I didn't have 2 years ago. And I've seen a lot of new entrepreneurs that are jealous of where I'm at, because they've been at it for a couple of months. They haven't gotten as far as I have. Anyway, I'm kind of getting off topic. Kintsugi, the beauty in our challenges, the beauty in our history and our story. And I think, while I'm not a Kintsugi expert and I'm not going to start a Kintsugi business, I thought this was kind of a fun thing to add to the YouTube channel for this jewelry business, where, I like looking at things from an unusual angle. I like thinking about the story behind things. And Kintsugi, man, I love Kintsugi. I've never done it before, but I've loved admiring the Kintsugi work that I've seen. I think it's so beautiful, and I think it really makes everything far more beautiful than it originally was. Now I'm using, what is this? This is 80 grit. Yeah, 80 grit sandpaper. I was going to try doing like 3 different grits and try to get it down really smooth and fine and all that. And then I thought to myself, well, wait a minute. And then I'm going to cover it up with this adhesive, this epoxy, this colored opaque epoxy. You won't see how fine it is. Plus, because I'm using an adhesive, frankly, the more tooth it has to it, the better the adhesive will probably stick. Not that it's really going to matter, because it's going to be sticking to a lot of parts here, but I'm just going to use a rough sandpaper and roll with that. I think that's actually going to be a better fit for this project. So, yeah. Be sure to check out charmingquail.com. And if you want to learn more about the stuff that I'm working on, I design jewelry to help you revel in whatever it is you nerd out about, but do it with an elegance, a timeless elegance that's going to make everybody else jealous. And that's a really hard combination to find. Um, you can find stuff with timeless elegance, and you can find stuff that's pretty nerdy out there. But trying to find stuff that's nerdy and elegant, man, that's a tough, tall order. And I love that challenge. I love that challenge. So head over to charmingquail.com to check out what I'm working on over there. And if you want to be the first to know, honestly, I'm working on a new project right now that's really going to shift the store to a much more nerdy zone. If you want to be the first to hear about that project and when it comes out, when it's ready, go to charmingquail.com, subscribe to charmingquail.com/subscribe to sign up for the fan feed email list and be the first to know when those sketches start showing up and then the CAD models. I'm going to release the story behind that piece and the making of it as it goes along. So be sure to subscribe and check out what's in the shop, see if there's anything that interests you. But thanks for coming along for the story here. I'm going to keep on sanding here, and then I'll catch you in the next video here, where hopefully I'll be adhering all this together. I'll be mixing up the epoxy with the silver color in it and sticking this whole thing together. So like, subscribe, and then click here to watch. Keep following the story.